I can guarantee if you clicked on this video, you're making some of these muscle build mistakes. I know you are because I've made them all. So learn from my past experiences and this will speed up your progress drastically. Number one is taking too short of rest times in the gym. I used to take 60 to 90 seconds between my sets. This actually stopped me getting stronger week on week, which is the main thing that's gonna build muscle. Research is now back in anywhere between 2 to 5 minutes rest between sets. Now, you're not gonna take 5 minutes after every set. I think if you do a big movement, leg press, bench, squat, take 3 minutes. And on the smaller movements like lateral raise, bicep curls, take 2 minutes. I can guarantee that you'll get stronger week on week and build more muscle. So actually take the rest. And if you think, how do I fit all my sets in my workout? You might just need to do less sets. Number two, I used to change routine all the time, going, I'm not growing fast enough. If you're changing your training routine every 6 weeks, it's too soon. The longer you stay on a workout routine, the more muscle you're gonna grow as long as you're progressively overloading. Now, this is where things get interesting because what happens after about 6 weeks on a training block, your skill acquisition for a movement is gone. And only then really are you starting to get the hard weeks from week 6 on? Because people go, well, 6 weeks of doing a movement's a lot. It's not. So you've really only got that skill acquisition and now you progressively overload properly. So as a result, you actually want to stay in the same training plan for as long as possible. And if you notice you're not getting stronger week on week, drop down the amount of sets because you're probably not recovering. Keep the same training plan until your goal is achieved. And if the program is good, you need to give it time overload and that will build your muscle, not hopping from program to program. Consistency and patience is what's gonna get your result. 3, chasing a pump. This is something I used to do. I used to go into the gym, do high rep sets, but on top of that, I would do finishers like press ups to failure on the Smith machine. And this is not gonna grow you muscle. The reason for this is most studies now are not backing metabolic stress. They're backing pretty much just getting fucking stronger week on week. You wanna focus on the majority of your sets between 6 to 12 reps, take enough rest, don't worry about the pump. That's not gonna be a main driver. If you wanna get a small pump, do some high rep sets at the very end, that's okay. But if you chase a pump throughout your entire workout, you're just wasting your time. Number 4, focusing too much on the 1% and not the over 99%. What I mean by this is, you're that worried about the pre-workout supplement you're having, but you're not nailing your calories, your macros, your sleep, or even your consistency with training. Look, I've got caught up in this. Researching ashwagandha, all these 1% supplements. But in reality, I wasn't nailing my calories, I wasn't being consistent. And unless you're nailing the base, the foundations, you're never gonna be able to build the house you want. So ask yourself, are you nailing your training consistency, progressively overloading, nailing your calories every single day, nailing your macros, and are you getting enough sleep? Because most people aren't even nailing these bare basic things before they worry about the 1% things. Focus on the basics, don't worry about the 1%, and focus on the 99%. Number 5, I've been so guilty of this, ego lifting. Look, everybody wants to do 225 pounds in the bench press. I've been there, and as a result, I've got the shoulder injuries to prove it. We're not going to the gym to train our ego, we're going in to train the muscles. Whenever you push your ego, you're gonna lift unnecessary weight that you can't control. And as a result, you're gonna have lagging body parts. We see this all the time now. For me, it was chest. I would go in and try and dumbbell press as heavy as I could. And as a result, I couldn't keep my chest proud. I would round forward and my delts and my triceps would do a lot of work. And I actually ended up growing my delts and my triceps more than my chest for a long time period. And whenever you get a lagging body part like this, it's gonna hold you back massively because it's so tough to hit that muscle group now because the secondary muscle groups are so strong, they just wanna take over. So do not ego lift. It will come back to haunt you in more ways than one with lagging body parts and injury. So cut that shit out. I've been there, don't do it. Next up, we have too much cardio. I'm all for heart health, but if you're doing massive amounts of high intensity cardio, it is gonna ruin your progress with muscle building. The reason being is 1, you're gonna be fatigued, and 2, you're using all your carbs as fuel for cardio rather than your weight sessions. I'm not saying you shouldn't do some form of cardio, but if you're doing high rocks, you're doing CrossFit, you're not gonna build the same amount of muscle. If you're doing a small amount of cardio that's low intensity, like the Stairmaster, your heart rate's low, you're using fat as your main fuel source, and you're saving them carbs for the weight sessions where you focus on your progressive overload and get stronger. There's a reason that runners look the way they do. So focus on doing that and you'll look the way you want. On to the next one, we have not logging your weights. See the amount of people I see go into the gym And yes, they have no plan, but they're not actually logging their weights week on week. They're eyeballing it. They're going, I roughly done this weight last week. They're not noting it either in pen and paper or on an app. And the reason we do this is because not only can we note the weight and beat it week on week, but you can also make side notes about how the set felt. So for example, sometimes I might not move up weight week on week, but I'll leave a note saying how the last set felt. If that set was 8 to 12 reps and I got 12 reps, normally I would move up, but if I leave a note saying form in the last couple of reps wasn't great, tidy this up before you move up weight, I know the next week that is what I'm gonna do for that set. I'm gonna focus on making it perfect before I move up. This makes a massive difference, leaving them little notes for yourself, because you can actually see when you need to move up weight. Logging your weights, leaving yourself feedback, gives yourselves clues so that you can move forward faster. The next one's an absolute genius one that you're definitely doing is you're watching too much Netflix at night. In reality, you're just not sleeping enough. This is gonna be one of the most important things for actually building muscle that people overlook. If you're not getting at least 7.5 hours a night of good quality sleep, you're not gonna build the same amount of muscle because you're gonna be fatigued. That's gonna go into your sessions. It's gonna stop you overloading. Your test levels are gonna be lower. Your mood's gonna be lower. And overall, you're not gonna build anywhere near the same muscle. Remember, you build the muscle outside the gym with the other 23 hours. It's not just how hard you train, it's how hard you recover. So spend time actually focusing on the recovery side of things, and that will make so much more for you. So simple things you can do to improve your sleep is stop blue light like an hour and a half out, drink chamomile tea every night like I do. It calms me down, it puts me in a good sleep, and have a bedtime routine. Yes, I have a bedtime routine, I'm like 30 years old, but this ensures you wake up fresh, ready to smash the day, and you're recovering session on session. You're not gonna get too fatigued. Right, last one we have is thinking you have to be sore after a session. You do not have to be sore after a session. DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness, is not direct correlation to how much muscle you're building. So if you go into the gym, you train and you're not sore the next day, it does not mean that you have to go necessarily harder. You'll get this pain when you change training program, when you go way too hard. It's not always beneficial because what that shows is it's impacting your recovery for the next session. We wanna go in, we wanna stimulate growth, we wanna recover and be ready for the next session. If you hit chest on Monday and you're hitting it again on Thursday and you're still sore, you're not recovering, and as a result, you're not gonna be able to overload week on week, and that's what's actually gonna drive the muscle growth. So do not chase just soreness the next day. It's not always more is better, more pain. Think smart, and you'll actually grow so much more muscle. I haven't been sore in a long time training. I've never grown more muscle than I have in the last 3 years. All I want with this content is to get people results faster, learn from my mistakes. You don't have to waste your time. And I'd really appreciate it if you could share this with somebody who would benefit from learning. That would mean the world to me. As usual, like, share, subscribe. Big love. I'll see you in the next one.